Welcome. Today we are with MMPM 001 and Block 2, Unit 5, Learning and Memory. Before we will go for the learning and memory, we need to understand what are the contents that we are going to cover today. Introduction, concept of learning, theories of learning, the two complex issues of learning, memory structure and functioning, retrieving information, measuring memory for advertising, marketing applications. When we are going to talk learning, it's very much essential what we are learning, and we are learning from the environment, and at the different stages we are learning from the different sources. And the learning is a consumer behavior, is the process by which consumers change their behavior after gaining information or experience. So one is that through the institutions we are learning. Second is that by the process of our graduation we are learning. We can say regarding the child socializations, means regarding the society, how the children can able to learn. And it's the reason you don't buy or a bad product twice. So this is what is it happening, that when we are purchasing any particular kind of product, so two things is happening. Either you are going to think that this product is good, or you are going to think the product is bad. So both the regions can also be possible, because what informations you got, on the basis of that you are going to analyze and evaluate this particular product. Learning occurs when consumers respond to a stimulus, are rewarded with need satisfaction, or are penalized by the product failure. That is very often we have seen that when we are very much anxious for any kind of new product, mostly we need to see that if we are getting the advantage, if we are satisfied, then we are going to say it's a rewarded. But sometimes what is it happening also, the product fails. What the commitment being given by the company, if the product is unable to fulfill the commitment, so we can call it as a product failure. So product failure cases, the consumer is more harassed by this particular product failure. So that is also one kind of output is it coming, that is the customer can able to learn that whether the positive thing is it coming as a reward, or negative thing is it coming as a punishment. So a favorable experience teaches the individual to repeat the specific behavior. Means when we are going to talk that we are getting the satisfaction of a particular product, because we learn that particular product very well, and we understood that the product is performing well as per the expectations of the customers. So that particular time we have a specific behavior. Means our repeat behavior will be there as a brand loyal customers. But if we are dissatisfied with the product, we are mostly going through the brand switching. So brand loyalty and brand switching is based on that what kind of reinforcement you got it, whether it's a good reinforcement you got it, or positive reinforcement you got it, or negative reinforcement you got it. Learning, the definition is going to see that it refers to the relatively permanent change in behavior. But we cannot say always it's such a permanent change in behavior, because every day we are being bombarded through several kind of stimuli, and that stimuli is changing our behavior. So sometime something we learned and completely new one, so that particular cases will find that there is a permanent change in the behavior. And but this is the thing, the behavior is changing every time. Because of that, if you are accessing the informations regarding that particular kind of product again and again, so our behavior is changing. Learning is the process by which consumers acquire the information that they apply to future purchase behavior. So what is it happening, that when we are purchasing the product, we are equally learning from that particular product. And in near future, if we will get the positive reinforcement regarding the environment that the product is performing, then we are very much interested to purchase this kind of product again and again, and we are becoming the brand one. But if the negative things is it coming, so that particular cases we may not interested for that one. So what is it happening, it is actually shaping our purchase behavior, that which kind of product or which brand of product we should go for, or which brand of product we are not interested for. Like we can take also not only the product cases, but also we can take the example of the services. Take the example like the hotels, that once you have been to a particular hotel and you came to know that the foods are not good, and the service is also not good, next time you may not prefer this kind of hotels. That is controlling your future behavior. But once you have seen that particular roadside hotels are giving better solutions or good foods, then that is coming to your mind, that that is creating a positive reinforcement. Then next time you are going to select this kind of product again and again. So these kind of things are happening during your learning process. Theories of learning is saying that the psychologist explaining is the stimulus response, what we have already discussed. Stimulus means the information are coming from the different sources, which is affecting to one of our senses, and immediately after that there is a response. But always it is not true that all the kind of stimulus there will be a response. Response will be there, but you may not show the behavior. So that is what the stimulus response connection. Second is that today world is having the complex problem solvers. Means in the case of, we are going to read in cognitive theory that when any kind of problem is coming, so we are learning something during that particular process. Let us say if we can talk regarding the COVID-19. So every time we are learning how to control ourselves from this particular kind of disease, or we can able to take the instructions of the government so that we can live safely. So that the kind of thing is it happening. So theories of learning is going to say two things. One is your stimulus response, and second is that complex problem solving. Now under that we have three theories in the learning. One is the classical conditioning, then instrumental conditioning, then cognitive theory. So classical conditioning, so we will go for this one. It is being developed by Ivan Pavlov. And classical conditioning occurs, there is two things are there. One thing is we are going to say unconditioned stimulus, then unconditioned response, and finally it is converted into conditional stimulus and conditional response. So what is a stimulus and what is a response? Means if you are going to say that, a simple example, when a mosquito is biting to us, so the instruction is it coming to our brain that your hand will slap on that particular thing. So that is what we are going to say, that is the response. And what is the stimulus? It came from the mosquito, that biting, the pain or the sensation you will find on that particular skin, and the response is your slap you have given by the hand. So this is the same thing you will find wherever which kind of your receptory organs being affected. So that is the response you will find from that. Maybe it is due to that your nose, or you might be the eyes, or it may be the skin, any kind of things that is senses being affected. As per the senses affected, the responses are also different. Over the time, the second stimulus causes a similar response because it is associated with the first stimulus. So sometime if a mosquito is biting one, I have given the example, second case is even if also one another that is, I am going to say fly, it is sitting on your screen. So that particular time also similar response will come, because you came to know that it might be the same mosquito came again. So that is the kind of responses are similar when the similar kind of stimuli are there. For this, he has done a very nice experiment that we will go through. That is through the dogs, and he has started this particular kind of experiment. So this is the picture what we can able to understand it very well. That first time he experimented this particular concept with that the food. We know it very well when we are providing the food to the dogs. Mostly the dogs before taking the food salivates, and we can able to see it from a distance that the salivations came and the drops are coming from the mouth. So that is, we called it as an unconditioned stimulus, because you have not put any kind of condition, simply you have shown the food. And unconditioned response is also you have not told or you have not designed anything for the the dogs to respond. So dog is responding as per his or her requirement. So that is by the salivation. Second condition is that before conditioning, we are going to start the conditioning with the food. So what is it happening? That we are going for the whistle. So you have put a whistle, so no salivation takes place, because the dog has not seen dog. When he has seen the food, the salivation takes place. When he is going to see any object which is not at all a food, so no response will come. So that's why it's a neutral stimulus, means the object unknown by the dog, and that's why no conditioned response is coming. Third cases, that is during conditioning. So conditioning cases, before providing the food, you have started with the whistle. So you're accustoming that food with the whistle. So the dogs came to know that before I'll get the food, there is a whistle mark. So he is associating that food is being associated with the whistle. Once the whistle bell will be there or the noise will come, so instantly, immediately after that, the food will come. So he starts salivations because of that. Both whistle and the food are simultaneously there. So that is what we call that unconditional stimulus but unconditioned response. Now in the fourth stage after conditioning, that we have seen that here, instead of providing the food, if you will start with the whistling, by the noise of the whistle also dog salivates. So that what we are going to understand, that without seeing the food also the dogs can able to salivate, because the dog is already accustomed with the food with the whistle. So he came to know that if whistle, somebody is blowing the whistle, means automatically the food will come immediately after that. So that's when the salivation starts. So here that conditioned stimulus, the conditioned stimulus one is the whistle, and conditioned response is that by the whistle also is salivating. So neither food is available nor the dog has seen this particular food, but salivation is still there. So that is the theory already developed by the Ivan Pavlov. So this shows that any product can be conditioned. So that, like we can say also, these kind of things they have done, utilized that jingles being utilized in the advertisement for any product. So initially the jingles, they will associate one music will be there. Before that, we know it very well that A.R. Rahman, that particular song is associated with the Airtel. So Airtel advertisements, the A.R. Rahman song is going on, so people are going to see that yes, A.R. Rahman song is very nice, they want to listen it. So after certain days, even if also Airtel advertisement will not be there, but the A.R. Rahman song will be ranked somewhere, people are going to think it's a Airtel advertisement. Means here completely conditions being happened. So that has also applied in the advertisement. So this is all about your classical conditioning. So here another thing is it coming in the classical conditioning, that repetition. Repetitions means if you are going to do the same thing, similar thing again and again, the responses will be same. So we called it as conditioning effects are more likely to occur after the conditioned stimulus have been paired with a number of times. So how many number of times you are going to whistle, you will find that there is a salivation from the dog. Repeated exposure increase the strength of stimulus response association and prevent the decay of this association in memory. So after certain times, what it will happen, that repetition of this particular thing with the food and other thing, this is more strength. This means that is with a regular interval you need to do with that particular food what you are providing to the dogs. If you are not doing for a few days, then what it will happen, the recalling this thing will be difficult. So the dogs may not respond what if he was earlier responding by blowing this particular whistle. So he may not respond. So that's why it is very much essential that association must be there, and strength means if it is you are going to make frequently, then there is a response from that. So repetition is highly essential for the response. Stimulus generalization. So stimulus generalization is what refers to the tendency of the stimuli to condition or evoke similar. So that means if you are going to view this particular thing, so similar responses are coming. So when you are going to find with the different other things also, if you are going to do a little bit less, like if you are going to for a flute, or if you are going for any kind of noise which is similar noise than the whistle, so you will find also the salivations will be there. Unless until dog feels that this noise is different, still up to that he is going to salivate, because when the noises will be different, then the condition will come, the stimulus discrimination. Sometimes what is it happening, that the noise is completely different, that if you are going to, instead of going for the whistle, if you are going for clapping, so you may not get the response of like that, salivations will be taking place. So that is also equally you will find in the case of marketing cases, that if the products are looking same. So when the products are looking same, there is a huge chance that the product selling will be easy. Nowadays we will find this kind of things are very often happening in the car segments. So car segments front side looks some extent, some of the car cases that is similar. So few cases we have seen that just like your Toyota company cars, and you are going to find also in the case of that is your Maruti cars, although they have the similar kind of things. So some extent the looks are similar, and customers are confused that what kind of car is it, that whether it is this is the car of Brija or that yeah, the Toyota car, that one that so this particular thing cases we will find that both the cars are similar by look, but the brands are different. Just like also the same thing also we are going to find in the case of Maruti Baleno and Glanja, Toyota Glanja. So both the looks are same and similar kind of thing. So it's quite difficult for the customer to identify and differentiate that which brand is from which company. So, but if the products are not in same qualities, or you will find there is some extent differences in the slightly designing or something, or just the lower price, the quality is different, or the materials are different. That particular cases, the stimulus discrimination occurs because the customer can able to distinguish between one stimuli to another stimuli, and the response will be different. So that is what we call it as stimulus discrimination. H for psychologist, we have Skinner, that is operant conditioning. So we got a very well knowledge regarding what that is your classical conditioning. And next is operant conditioning, what we discussed the second theory of learning. So B.F. Skinner has developed these particular concepts by, again, he has also experimented with dopes, means he has gone for too many boxes, and the dough is there, and each boxes in front of that there is a plate. If the dough is going to stand up on the plate, automatically the door will open, and the food ingredients are available inside the box. So what he has done, so he has experimented this one and started, the dough has gone to the first box and he didn't find anything because the box opened and it's empty box. Second cases also there is an empty box, and third cases when the box opened there are grains are there. So here it is going to see that if the stimulus is there, so there must be the reinforcement. So reinforcement is what? That is a positive reinforcement or the negative reinforcement. If he has also conducted that if he is going to make too many boxes are completely emptied, then the dough may not try for the next boxes, because too many times the negative rewards is going to give the idea that there is other boxes are also empty. And sometimes if it is a positive reward, if you are going to give that every box is going to open, then that is clear. So his interest will be more. So he will go for the more number of boxes. So that is he has tested in his experiment in the operant conditioning. Let us go through the mouse also. He has done the in the mouse experiment also. So operant conditioning, once the mouse came and reinforced, increased the behavior by showing this your kick. So the mouse instantly respond and in that particular box. But when the mouse entered this particular box, then box is completely emptied. So it's a negative reinforcement. So that is observed that if it is a positive reinforcement introduced to increase a behavior, your behavior will be similar pattern and you will behave in a better way. But when it is a negative, you will be harassed, you are not happy, you are in the unhappy conditions, and your behavior will be changed. Means the second condition, the response will be just that the stimuli is trying to cheat, and the first condition, the it's a satisfaction that is going to get. So satisfaction leads to the better behavior, and here dissatisfaction leads to your behavioral changes. So operant conditioning also we called it as a instrumental learning. Instrumental learning occurs when the environment provides positive reinforcement in the form of reward, the response is strengthened and appropriate behavior is learned. Negative reinforcement is also strengthens response to that appropriate behavior is also learned. If I can say that if you have been to a particular kind of hotels, you have seen too many hotels are there, and you identified one of the hotels, but one hotel you have seen that the cleanliness is not there. Second hotel also you have seen the cleanliness is almost similar. So you may not go to the other hotels which are available, because by this process you learn this is the negative reinforcement, that all the negativity things are there. But once you will go to the particular hotel, first hotel, you find that the hotel is very nice and well decorated, and the food is also well placed, and that is the persons who are available, they are providing the services, they are in the good dress up. So that particular cases, that is a positive reinforcement. So positive reinforcement always giving a positive result to the customers. So operant conditioning is operating in the basis of these particular four quadrants. We can able to observe it very well that this is between two things. One is stimulus versus the behavior. So stimulus cases, we have positive stimulus and negative stimulus. Then behavior is positive and negative. So negative stimulus and positive stimulus means you have known positivity about a particular product, you have known the negativity about a particular product. So how it has an impact on you and how your behavior being changed. Let us say you purchased one product or you have seen this particular product, you verified the product and the stimulus is positive because a lot of positive things are there. But another product, when you have seen lot of things are negative, like that is broken, or this is not packed properly, or that is not clean so much, or the sellers are not giving attention to the customer, like that, this kind of stimulus is, we can call it as a negative stimulus. So how the customer's behavior will be? So behavior is positive is in the green and behavior is negative in the red. So two things first we need to study that when it is positive, behavior is positive and stimulus is positive, that particular time you will find that positive reinforcement is there. Means a person having a positive behavior and that is exposed towards a positive stimuli, so you will find there is a positive reinforcement. But when the stimulus is negative and also behavior is negative, then that particular cases you will find a negative punishment. Means you are neither liking this kind of product and at the same time also you will find there are a lot of problems with the product. So both the way stimulus is not good and your behavior was also towards that particular product is negative, your attitude is not good, so you are negative. So that particular cases the negative punishment being developed. So you are never going to try this particular kind of product because you have already seen neither the stimulus wise it is good or nor you like this kind of products. So both this quadrant are where high both positive or both negative stimulus and behavior we are going to find. But another two condition where we are going to find the stimulus is negative and behavior is positive, and stimulus is positive and behavior is negative. Here another thing is it happening that when stimulus is negative and behavior is positive, mostly neutralization is it happening. But when stimulus is positive and behavior is negative, that is again also neutralization is there. But here it is the questions that when the stimulus is less negative and behavior is more positive, that particular cases some extent there is a behavioral change that will be possible. Stimulus is more positive and behavior is less negative, that is also the condition where more positive things are there. But here negative reinforcement related to the your attitude is positive, the product is not good. So what will happen? So you are not going to like this particular product. Second case is stimulus is positive, but you are not liking this kind of product. So that particular case is positive punishment. Means although the product is good, but you do not like to use this kind of products. So that is the kind of thing is it happening. So we can take example that if the product like you do not like scooter, but best scooter came to the market. So that particular cases we can say positive punishment. But negative stimulus cases that I can say the bike is there, but you are very much interested for the bike, but the bike what it looks is not good. So the bike is not in a good condition or the qualities are not showing good. So that is negative reinforcement it will occur. And both other cases positive and negative we can see in the different products. Now operant conditions, what are the conditions we are going to find? Variable interval reinforcement. So here is the time that must pass before reinforcement is delivered is allowed to vary. So what I'm going to say that if a person is going to meet with somebody for any kind of marketing transactions or product transactions, so you need to give some time to the customer to go for the next interactions. If you go immediately, the positive results may be negative one. So that's why the reinforcement always has a time and it will vary with the time. If you are going early, maybe negative, or early sometime it is positive, or if you have delayed, what the customer is very much interested might be going to say, yes, it is delayed, I do not want this kind of product. So that is very much variable interval reinforcement. Fixed ratio enforcement is edge against the above. The here the enforcement occurs in a fixed ratio. Means the rhythmically, if you are going to talk and if you are going to give the informations, there is a positive reinforcement. Means day by day you are getting some positive information about a particular brand of product or positive information regarding a particular product. So definitely there is a positive reinforcement. Or if you came to know about the negativity of the product at the initial sense and later also you got also more negativity about the product, then again also the negative reinforcement takes place. Variable ratio reinforcement, the behavior is reinforced after a certain number of response, but the consumer doesn't know how many responses are required. So variable ratio reinforcement is that sometimes is it happening also the marketer is interacting with the customers and customer is saying no. And several times after interactions, the customer might be change his mindset up and going to say yes. Means there is a proportionate number of interactions required, a proportionate numbers of the stimuli required, which is a positive one, which can able to convert the negative behavior into the positive one. So that is possible in the variable ratio reinforcement. Now we are going through the cognitive theory. So cognitive theory we discussed earlier, that is Wolfgang Kohler has developed this particular cognitive theory. This story is all about that problem solving or problem solvers. So that is also that is the case has when he has experimented, that is with the chimpanzee. So chimpanzee was in a cage. He kept that chimpanzee on the cage, and at the top of the cage there is a banana being attached there, banana bunch being attached there, so that the chimpanzee by jumping or doing any kind of experiments, he unable to take the banana from that particular bunch. But he has kept a bigger tool just nearer to the one of the corner of that particular cage. So after some time, he came to know and he has seen that the chimpanzees has taken that particular table and stood on the table and taken the banana and consuming that particular banana. So here the Wolfgang Kohler can able to know that it is the cognitive learning. Means in the society or the environment, without providing sufficient information or stimuli also, the person from himself also can learn. Like we know it very well that when in the children's stage, children are growing up, so many times they are get down from the bed. So by this process, they came to know that how to slide from the bed so that you can able to protect yourself. So that is cognitive. Nobody else is going to educate them that how to do that. Just like also bird, they are going to see others that how the mother is flying and they are trying to do that one. But cognitive cases, you have not seen this kind of things earlier, but you are taking it as a challenge and you are trying to solve this particular problem, and we call it as a problem solvers. So this is also very often happening that we can able to capture the attention of the people also through the cognitive theory. Means you put some product in a such a manner so that it became an equation or it may be unable to solve it. We know it very well, just like Sudoku and some kind of problems gaming or some numbers, jumble numbers like that. The play will be there where people are very much interested to do this kind of problem solving, and they are doing and they are getting the advantage out of that one. So that is what we know, that is that cognitive learning theory. So here cognitive learning theories, we have the issue of consciousness. So we have actually three conditions, that unconscious, semi-conscious and conscious. Unconscious cases, what is it happening? Mostly when we are in the sleeping conditions, that particular time we are unable to know what the activities are we doing. So we cannot get as an unconscious stage. Semi-conscious stages, we are attentive to somewhere. So another thing is it happening, because we know it very well, when we are very much strongly associated with one kind of stimuli, another stimuli we are unable to observe it. So that stimuli also is going to affect you some extent. So that particular cases, that is subconscious cases, what is it happening? That you are unable to know. Although both the stimuli you are learning or you are understanding or you are observing, but you are missing part of the stimuli. That is what we call the subconscious mind is not able to do consciously to both the stimuli. So it is not justifying that both the stimulus region to come or region to this kind of stimuli is yet coming. So here there is some evidence of existence of non-conscious procedural knowledge. And conscious stages, what is it happening? That you are fully conscious, you know it very well, and you are doing the decisions on the basis of the reason why this has happened, and you are going to take the evaluation of that one. Then after that also you are taking. So conscious stage is mostly you are going to analyze it properly, verify it, and after that you are taking the decisions. So non-conscious procedural challenge, people apparently do process at least some information in an automatic passive way. Means sometimes it is happening also, we can say that subconscious stages that when we are driving the car or vehicle, automatically the gear shifting is taking place. But we are not knowing the, sometimes it is not possible that we are knowing consciously, but it is happening that people are subconsciously doing that one, and that is because of the practices, more number of practices that is happening. So that is issues of consciousness, then subconsciousness and consciousness. Observational learning is very often this is happening, we are unable to know, but most of the things are observational. Like if I'm going to say that a majority of the people are observing from their parents, how they walk, how they take the food, how they select the different retail outlets, which kind of retail outlets they very often go to purchase, and what kind of behavior are they showing, how are they interacting with the other people. So this is being completely observed by the children during the child stage, and they are interacting with the parents several times, observing how are they walking, the kind of product coming to their home. And after certain days you will find also when they will grown up and they are with their own home, you will find similar kind of observations will be there. What the parents have done, similar kind of things done by also the son and daughter. So that is observational learning cases possible. And very often nowadays we call it as in movies that fans, that lot of people are in the market, those who are fans of different celebrities. We call just like the celebrities of movie celebrities, we call that sports celebrities. And people, when they become the fan of celebrities, they try to imitate the characteristics of that particular actors or the models or the celebrities, and they want to be like them. So that is what the modeling cases mostly is it happening, that the models always try to follow what is it there in the that particular fellow to whom they are observing. And observations also, most of the cases we are going to observe from a distance and observing from very nearer to that one, and without any informations, without any direct contact also, we can able to know lot of things from that particular cases. So that is mostly is it happening in observational learning. And in these particular cases the impact is also very high. People are from observations doing lot of things, and that is also happening. And children's very often do this observational learning, and their impact is also very high. Observational learning, four things are there. So first we need to understand it very well, that first is the attention, production, retention and motivations. So first is coming attention. We studied it very well that capturing the attention means when we are observing, it is just not like that we are observing. The observations takes place when there is a source is very strong. I can say that, let us say one meeting is going on, and some of the speakers, the attention is very high, and some of the speakers cases the attention is very low. What is the reason? The reason is that the sources informations of the stimuli is very strong, and that is capturing the attention of yours. And some of the speakers, their contents are not so nice or not so interesting, so it is unable to capture the attention of the people. So that's why it is very much essential to be a good teacher, that most of the students are trying to follow that how the teachers are teaching them very well, and how are they trying to do that one. and this particular kind of things is it capturing the attention. But observational cases through things are also uh, what we are observing and is there essential to observe. That two things are coming to the mind of the people, that when we are observing there might be some kind of interest in that area, otherwise you are not going to observe. Or second cases, it may be forcefully because your organization very much interested to understand that what kind of retailers are there in the market and how the customers are interacting with the retailers. That information they want to know. So you have done a observation on the customers, observations on the retailers, and that informations you have sent to the market, sent to the companies. So companies can able to understand it fully by observing both the retailers and the customers, and he is planning to prepare the product as per the requirement of the customer. So that is mostly attention, how to capture the attentions. So observations learning is more impactful if the attention is high, but if it is not, attention is low, so impact will be very less. Production. Poor motor ability inhibits production of the model's behavior, help improve skills. So when we are observing that some of the skills are also there. Let us say if I'm going to say that you want to see that how people are trying to do their works, like you can observe it through the YouTubes. So always observation is not physical. Sometimes observations are, you are going to see just like online also you can observe it and doing all these things. So production means in the production unit, how the people are trying to do producing a particular kind of skill set. Let us say carpenter is doing some work, or the mason is trying to do some work, a mechanic is trying to do some work. So here it is the skills. So if you have that particular skill by observing that one, your skill will be improved. So production cases, poor motor ability inhibits reproduction of the model's behavior, help improve skills. Retention cases, how the information or observation will retain in our memory. So if it is quite interesting, it is the area where you are very much interested for, or this is going to help you in the long run, or for your job, this is highly essential. That particular cases, your retention will be very high. And anything which is not at all light or not at all essential during your career progress, so you may not keep it with your memory. So that's why retention, student retention will be improved when teachers give logical and clear demonstration. So here observations cases, it is very often we have seen that the students are trying to see the things which is mostly pictorial mode or elaborated or mathematical orders, or it is in the logical orders, and having some conditions being put, or it is narrated in a different way, more that means if it is more vocabulary or more theoretical concept, then retention capacity will be lesser with comparison to when it is a when mathematical or pictorial mode like that. So retention is more. So that's why also that when child stages, it is quite easier that when most of the books we have seen, they will start educating the child with the picture, that this is dog, this is cat, this is rat, like that. So by seeing the picture, first the child can able to know what kind of animal is it and what is the name of that animal. But immediately after that, bigger font they have written that R A T, rat being written, then C A T, cat being written. So that is what that particular thing is associated with the picture. So retention will be more when it is associated with the picture and other things. So here intentionally when the education starts with the low age or the children stages, so more pictorial form, more descriptive form will be there, less content oriented will be there. But when the education will be in the higher level, that particular cases, that mostly the education is mostly theoretical based, and a lot of logics will be there. So here the retention capacity already increased, and that they are going to apply through more readings and more things can be there. Last one is the motivation. So motivation is what when given a reinforcement modeling increases. Means sometimes is it happening that by seeing a certain thing we are being motivated. Means like I can say that if the activities what is it happening I like most. Like I can say that if it is a golf match will be there, or if I can say it's a cricket match will be there, if it is a football match will be there, my motivation will be more to see that more details. If I do not have to see cricket, I am not at all interested for the cricket, so my motivation is not there to see. So I do not spend or observe more time that particular cricket match. So motivation is also plays a vital role for the observation to which kind of product you like most or which kind of services you like most. There is the motivation is higher and highest. So here there are the four things. So attention will be there to capture. That is more important for the observation. If attention is not there, observation will not be good. Production, that is for a particular skill, which skill you like most, that particular skill, your observation will be more. Retention, the things, the observations which are the areas which area you like most, the retention will be there. If you are not liking, your retention will be less or it may not remain with you. Fourth one is the motivation. If that things you have known earlier, this is a familiar thing, or that area you want to make a career, or that is quite helpful for you in the different field, so your motivation will be very high. These are the four things we have known from the observational learning. Now we are going through the memory structure and functioning. So we know everyone that we have a memory, and memory cases we know it very well, that to store the information. But very rarely we have the knowledge how the memory stores the information, because lot of kind of information is it coming to store in memory. Just like I can say, if it is a FMCG product, where to store. If it is a high engineering product, where to store. If it is a durable product, where to store. Besides that, also we are going to find the services. In the case of services also, we need to see that the services can be stored, and where to store, how to know which hotel is good, bad. So every all kind of informations what we are getting, and that is being bombarded from the different sources, and that remain with the memory. But we have the different stages of the memory. Some of the informations that remain, some of the informations will not remain. So storing of information is a great challenge. Sometimes is it happening also very often that students are going to say I am unable to remember this one, and some of the students are going to say I can remember only this part. Some of the students can say I am very good in mathematics, not in English. I am very good in science, not in Sanskrit, like that. So what is it happening that here your memory having the capability to store certain area of information very easily, but other area of information it's very difficult to do. So the mind is in the same way like a computer. So computer cases we know it and we studied it very well, that there is a input, process, output, and our consumer behavior also started with that is our black box system. So in black box system there is a information bombarding from the sources, that is what we call it as a input. Then process cases, we called it as a black box, where starting from need recognition to evaluation of alternatives and experience, up to that, that is the black box. And when we are going for the purchases of the product, that is coming in output. So the computer is working like the input data through the that is keyboard, input data through the your hard disk or the pen drive, then it is coming to your processor. So processor is trying to process it. What kind of data is it? What kind of queries being solved? So all the data what being input being given, that is also stored in the computer, and when it is stored, what kind of operations they are going to do to get some output, because data you have stored, that is entered and kept, but you want to do some kind of analysis, and that is the output. So how to do get the output? So you are going through the same processor is collecting the informations from the different sources, like your mouse is giving also the instructions, that is inputs, and the inputs is also available with your memory, and inputs is also available that is coming from the keyboards and other things. So all these inputs joined together, and after the process, then the output generated. So that is we can call it as also the reports. So different reports being generated, and these reports are when we are going to take it as the output or print out. So that particular cases, that is we called it as an output. So like this also our things are working like this. Our memory is also working like this. Memory is also always being bombarded with too many kinds of stimuli, and all the informations are coming to the memory. And before that also informations are there. So all the information which is coming to the memory is also adjusted with the information available in the memory, and that creates that whether this is a positive thing, negative thing, there is a calculations is it happening, and finally output being drawn. So what is the output? Whether the information what you got, that is a positive thing or the negative thing, that is the output it is you are going to get. So memory process works like this. That is, first is encoding, second is storage, third is retrieval. Like encoding means it's a memory part. We know it very well that earlier we have the assembly languages. So the first machine languages, after that assembly languages came. So assembly languages work is to write all this information or input that is associated with the machine languages. So that kind of input you require. So writing this kind of input became a great challenge for the ordinary people. So what it has happened later on with the development of the softwares. So we have the different kind of languages started, C, C++, Java and all these things. And finally, what it has happened, these languages you can write as a normal language like English, and automatically the computer can able to understand it. But computer can understand only 0, 1, either signal on or signal no signal, or you can say current on or current off. But the combinations what it has gone, so that is computer can able to understand because of the languages. So today when we are giving the any instructions to the computer is first trying to do the encoding. So what encoding means? That means it is transferring this particular data into a particular suitable form which can be understood by the computers, and after that it is being stored in the computer. So when you are retrieving, the decode takes place, means the same information will come from the memory and that is again converted, which the customer can able to understand it, or the operator can able to understand it. So that is the same thing in the memory. When we are keeping something in our memory, so that is first encoded. We do not know what the way the information being stored in our memory. So once this is being stored, when we are retrieving, so these informations are again decoded. So decoded, and what we have input, so that information is it coming to as a output. Now interrelationship of the memory systems. So we'll find sensory input. So here it is the sensory memory, then short-term memory, long-term memory. So first is coming sensory input. Sensory input means that is the information what I told already, that which is affecting to our senses, that is the stimuli. So when stimuli is coming, so that is first is it coming to the sensory memory. So we are going to discuss where the information will not remain for more time. It is automatically abolished. Like we are going to say that remembering a particular vehicle numbers to go somewhere, or to remembering the phone number of somebody who is a driver for a certain purpose. So that numbers and that kind of informations will not remain with you for more days unless until you have saved it with your cell phone. So our memory is not going to keep all the informations for a long duration. So that's why it is for a short duration any information is being kept, we called it as a sensory memory. And some of the informations which it requires for certain days. So after certain days you may not require. Like I can say that if you want to purchase nearby a car, so you are collecting the information. That information will remain with you unless until you have purchased a car. And once you purchase the car, the probability is there that what the informations you have collected, that will not remain, or full informations or the different informations that is not available with you. And last one is the long-term memory. Long-term memory cases, the informations which remain throughout your life, or mostly we are going to say it will not be erased or damaged. Like I can say that if you are remembering any particular persons or your parents, so that will remain forever. Your school days friends, the faces and other things, that remain in the long term. And some of the subjects if you are going to learn, if you have much more interest also, that remain with you throughout your life, that information. Or somebody has somebody has given a punishment, or somebody has helped you a lot. So that kind of things, informations remain forever. So that is long-term memory. So here from sensory memory to attention, if the attention will be there, so means most of the information is yet coming and we are thinking that yes, it is available. But after some time we are also forgetting because our attention is not there towards that. So many times when you are listening also the speech, that is also coming under sensory memory. When the speech is going on, so we remembered all these things, as if that we have known all the speech of that particular speaker. But immediately after sometimes if you will ask them what the discussions being happened and you narrate it, it is quite difficult to narrate the entire thing. So when attention is going, then there it is a short-term memory, means maintenance rehearsal. How many times, very often we know it very well that the students when they are practicing for the examinations, their rehearsal is going on. Maintenance rehearsal will be there so that this will remain with you. If you are not reading it again and again, so these informations what you have read already or that is related to your examinations may go out immediately because you are not rehearsing and you are not going to maintain this particular kind of practices. Next is coming encoding. Long term is that you are encoding that one, what is this information is all about, and you are narrating a full story account of forms that will be remain with the long term memory. The partial, part time, this kind of things, short memory, it will exist, but for the long term, it must be encoded and things are there. So in short-term memory, when we are going to think or you are going to talk about something, so we are always searching from short-term memory. So short-term memory is always retrieving from the long-term memory. So sometimes it is possible that retrieving is possible and sometimes the retrieval may not be possible. So that's why long-term memory cases, some information may remain, some information may lost. Although information is there, that will come in a different shapes or sizes, that information will not give or fulfill your exact requirement. So that is we have discussed here that sensory memory permits storage of the information we receive from our senses, and that is for a short durations of time. We are keeping it temporary. So once this particular task will be over, we may forget this particular thing. Short-term memory cases, regular rehearsal is essential because we need to see again and again that particular stimuli, or that may be the readings or books or the speech, so that we can able to remember it for long durations. Third one is the long-term memory we have discussed is the system allows us to retain information for a long period of time. So long period of time when you are going to keep it, so that is mostly that is the kind of thing which is happening, that it will remain, but we can't say that all the informations what we have kept all will remain as if, means during the process also some of the information lost. Now retrieving information, factors influencing retrieval. Some differences in retrieval ability is psychological. Older adults consistently display inferior recall ability to current items. Like with the aging process, what we can say that younger people can remember very faster and can recall it also. But older people recalling things is quite difficult. They recall also some kind of stimuli, supportive stimuli to recall that particular information. State dependent retrieval, that is in the process term, state dependent retrieval, people are better able to access information if their internal state is the same at the time of recall. Sometimes with your mood or sometimes what is it happening that we are unable to connect it properly because we are not in a good conditions, we are thinking something else, so that particular time recall is quite difficult. So your mind setup is good, that particular time recall will be very high, or you are not in tensed mood, so that particular time the recall is better, but otherwise the recall will not be possible. Retrieving information, familiarity. So we know it very well when I have seen some objects before, the familiarity will be there. So it is quite easy to retrieve. So if you have not seen this particular object earlier, retrieving is difficult. Like I can say that you have not read any story book and you are trying to recall it and by seeing this one, it's quite difficult. Or if you have read it once and you forgot to read it again and again, so also recalling is quite difficult. So familiarity means you have seen similar kind of picture, you have seen the similar kind of contents, so retrieving is quite easy for that. Salience is that when we are trying to see any particular kind of product, so two things are there. One thing is that whether this is being stored in a pictorial form or it is a verbal cues. Like I can say that When we are talking regarding the animals and we are discussing about the animals, when I am talking about a lion or a tiger, automatically that picture will come to our mind. So how it looks like, how it roars and doing all these things. So pictorial forms, even if also when we are watching the movies or when you are going to see the cricket matches, the pictorial or the motion movies pictures are captured very easily than the if you are listening it through the radio or something or news are there, you are going to get. So verbal cues if you are going to give, that is remain with the memory is difficult than the pictorial. So we can say the pictorial cues are superior than the verbal cues. Measuring memory for the advertising, because advertisers pay so much money to paste their message in front of consumers, they are naturally concerned that people will actually remember this message at a later point. So when a marketer is always trying to do the advertisement, he's always trying to practice on the basis of such a kind of advertisement he's going to make where the consumer can able to remember. So certain kind of things they want to do, like I can say that we have seen celebrity endorsement advertisements. Why they are using the celebrity? Because we are already familiar with that kind of celebrity. So whatever the product they are trying to do, it is easy to capture by the customer. Sometimes we are going to make story based advertisement where some stories being displayed in the advertisement. That story also remembering very easy. And third thing is that a kind of professional, like a doctor is advising for the Horlicks kind of things, that is also association is quite easy, or boost is the secret of my energy, like that. This particular product, this is advertisement are always trying to find it out from the market that which kind of product and what kind of services is that, and how the customer can able to do that, associate with that kind of thing, so that it is quite easier for the customer to remember. And that is they're trying to measure the memory for the advertisement, what extent they can able to having the knowledge regarding that one. So we have actually measuring two type of things are there. We are when we are measuring that, we have the recognition test and recall test. Recognition test is mostly what extent you are recognizing the campaign. Like I can say that let us say one advertisement is going on, and that immediately after that particular program somebody will come to ask you just explain regarding what is the advertisement is all about. So if you can able to narrate the story, you can say what is the product performing or performance being shown in that particular advertisement, what kind of brand of product is it, how superior the product. If you can able to say almost 60 to 80% of the things, then you can able to recognize. Means you are recognizing, you are remembering that particular brand because you have enough knowledge regarding that particular brand of product. But when it is recall, so recall cases, pre-recall test being asking that you just remember or talk about a particular brand. Very often this kind of test being also conducted in the case of TOMA test, top of the mind awareness. So top of the mind awareness cases, the customer asked for to say at least 5 brands of any product. So that these brands which are coming first 5 numbers, so marketer thinks that these 5 numbers are mostly recognized by the customer and they are going to purchase this kind of product. So that is very often happening in the case of our recall test. Response biasness is also there, that sometimes customers are when they are getting the response, their biasness, they are trying to show that if the brand is something similar or different kind of things, so the response biasness they are trying to show, and instrument for the respondent, what the instruments they are going to select on the basis of that. Memory lapses, so here some troubles are coming, like some of the informations are omitting. It's not always true that all the information will remain with you, and some of them are averaging, means they will remain limited kind of things, informations. And telescoping is that very detailed informations that is being remained, and you are unable to do that one. Recalling is quite difficult, inaccurate, means you are unable to do that one very well. And memory versus feelings, that here we are very much feeling well for that to memory when we can able to understand it properly. And repetition is the point where we can able to do it first time, create awareness, second time we are demonstrating, third times. More is the repetition, it is very easy for that to customer to remember this kind of things very well. And marketing applications cases, conditioning product association. So very often we are in the product we are associating with the different kind of humors, musics, and that pictures that remain with our memory very well. So this is all about what we discussed regarding learning and memory, and I expect that this is going to help you a lot. Thanking you.